If you've got a tribal tattoo on your arm, we can safely assume you are in fact a douchebag. If you're wearing socks and sandals, you're most probably a professor. And if you've got both, why, you're a professor of douchebaggery, of course. But what about the things you can't control? What does your hair, your blood, and your smell say about who you are and what lies ahead in your future? Let's find out. In our list of 5 mysterious ways your body reveals things about you. In at number 5, blood types. Hands up if you know your blood type. I sure don't, but after all that candy I ate over Christmas, I'd wager mine's more like syrup right now. But why do we even have different blood types? And what does your individual type say about you as a person? First off, there are as many blood types as there are genders, sexualities, and flavors of Gatorade. For every pansexual cherry burst Apache helicopter, there's a blood type to match. 35 at the time of writing. With the A, B, AB, and O types, the 4 principal ones, but then you can also categorize people using the RH blood group system, the Cal system, the MNS system, the Duffy group, etc. Trust us, there's a lot, and each one has its own unique properties. But let's focus on the main 4 for now. Have you got type A blood? Congratulations, you're less attractive to mosquitoes, but you are also more likely to get heart disease and become a drunk with OCD. You win some, you lose some. Type B folks are more prone to E. coli and ovarian cancer, but you do have more than 50,000 times as many friendly bacteria than A and O people. AB peeps can donate plasma to anyone, but you've also got a higher risk of cognitive difficulties. And finally, those with type O have a lower risk of pancreatic cancer. But for some reason, you're also more attractive to mosquitoes. And you're more likely to develop ulcers, bust your Achilles tendon, and get stressed. Well, that last one's no surprise. I mean, if you were getting stung by mosquitoes with a crocked ankle and stomach ulcers, I'd get pretty narked too. These traits are just the tip of the iceberg, with resistance and susceptibility to many other diseases and conditions linked to various types of blood. Some people have even tried matching personality types to blood groups. But while we know this to be junk science, we're still not sure why we have so many blood types and exactly what they all do. At 4, pheromones. Pheromones are chemicals which are secreted by animals in order to trigger a response in another member of their species. Whenever a kitty cat rubs its face on your leg, a dog takes a whiz up a telephone pole, or an ant goes for a stroll, each of these actions involves the release of pheromones, and their uses range from marking territory and signaling alarm to letting your partner know it's time to get nasty. But do humans release these chemicals too? And if so, what do we use them for? Humans do possess the olfactory organ necessary for pheromone detection, but we've yet to determine whether or not it is active. The problem in testing this is that we also rely heavily on smells to guide us, particularly our social and sexual behaviors. So you'd need a complete odorless human in order to judge the effect of pheromones accurately. It's like eating a hot dog smothered in ketchup. Did I like it because it was a good hot dog? Or because it was smothered in delicious tomato gloop? Despite this uncertainty, a few potential pheromones have been detected, and they have some rather interesting effects. Androstenol could be a candidate for a female pheromone, and exposure to it has been shown to make humans think people and places are more attractive than they actually are. Androstenone is released by men and might serve a similar purpose in women. And it even makes their skin more conductive to allow for heightened physical sensations. There is also some evidence to suggest that if pheromones do exist, they may act like a medical report, giving a potential partner a quick rundown of how strong your immune system is. But despite the fact we have evidence that humans are affected by pheromones, we've yet to confirm how this works and what other information our stink glands are giving out. Hope it's not my Dropbox password. That's where I keep all my dankest memes. At 3. Your smell. As we discussed in the previous entry, smell plays an important role in human social and sexual interactivity. But did you know that your body odor can also give off information about how stressed, dominant, and healthy you are? We humans all have our own personal scent. It's called our odor print. But unlike Britney Spears' Curious and Donald Trump's Empire, it doesn't come in fancy packaging. No. Your odor print comes from a combination of the smells produced by sweat glands, oil-producing sebaceous glands, and those stinky apocrine glands found in your armpits and your groin. After removing factors such as what you've eaten or how much CK1 you've drenched yourself in, forensic chemists can use your odor print to identify you in the same way your fingerprints or DNA can. And with careful investigation, they can also identify smells which indicate if you're lying, whether you're scared or stressed, and what kind of person you are. Dominant, extroverted, and anxious people all give off certain unique smells. And while it's hard for me and you to distinguish these, unless someone has literally messed their pants, a forensic chemist with the right equipment can do exactly that. Many diseases also give off a scent, with cancer and diabetes both known to have distinct smell signatures. That's why dogs can often detect the presence of cancer way before the symptoms present themselves. And right now, there are doggy biodetection devices in development to refine this cancer identification method even further. In the future, your doctor's assistant could be a dog. How awesome is that? But there's also a more sinister side to this technology: smell surveillance. In 2007, the German authorities took scent samples from activists protesting the G8 summit, despite the fact that the technology didn't exist back then to make such activity accurate or worthwhile. But in the future, this may change. Your scent can linger for days, and you can do nothing about it. So as well as using smells to find out who's the most nervous or who's got the most tumors, we may even use it to solve crimes. And you know what this means? That script for The Fifth Sense starring Dolph Lundgren would actually make sense. You know the world's getting weird when It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia starts predicting the future. 2. Your hair. The color of your hair is determined by the melanin present within it. And despite the fact that we see the influence of melanin in skin color and eye color as well as the pigment of your hair, we still don't understand much of the chemistry behind these processes. But what we have noticed is that certain hair colors are linked to medical conditions in the same way blood types are. For example, the correlation between redheads and sunburn isn't just something to taunt ginger kids with. It's actually based on a genuine scientific link with a genetic basis. A study published in Nature in July 2016 showed that the gene variation which causes red hair and freckles is also associated with skin cancer mutations, causing redheads to develop melanomas 42% faster than normal. The paper claims that this is the equivalent of spending 21 years longer in the sun than those with non-red hair. But don't worry, ginger kids. At least you can comfort yourself with the fact that you're also more resistant to anesthetics. Oh wait. That's a bad thing, isn't it? The same genetic variation which gives you red hair also makes you metabolize anesthetic chemicals differently, meaning you'll need way more Novocaine than most when you visit the dentist. And you're at a higher risk of Parkinson's too. Sorry, just thought I'd throw that in there. Although there's one small crumb of comfort for redheads in the form of vitamin D, which you're able to produce in higher levels than anyone. So not only are you less prone to skeletal deformities and seasonal affective disorder, but you never have to eat bananas ever again. Let's give the redheads a break now and move on to brunettes and blondes. If you're dark-haired, you may be less likely to develop acne or skin cancer, but you're far more prone to hair loss and nicotine addiction. Meanwhile, blondes are pretty high up on the skin cancer chart, if not as high as redheads, but you guys and girls are also at a risk of vision problems. However, the old dumb blonde trope has now been conclusively disproven with the discovery that blondes have a higher average IQ than any other group. And our last entry has really got us stumped, because we've yet to figure out why this might be. Number 1. Righty or lefty? Left-handed people make up only 10% of the population, but they are far more likely to be creative or genius thinkers, with lefties disproportionately represented in the arts, the Nobel Prizes, and even the American Presidency. However, studies show that as well as making for a tricky boxer or tennis player, southpaws are also more at risk from a range of serious diseases. In a study by Yale University, 40% of schizophrenic patients were found to be left-handed. And another investigation by a UK team found that left-handed women who had passed menopause were also more prone to breast cancer. Further studies have also noted higher instances of multiple sclerosis, Crohn's disease, and sleep disorder in left-handed people, who are statistically more likely to earn lower salaries and work menial jobs. Science cannot explain many of these strange correlations at the moment, but we do know that left-handed and ambidextrous people process language differently. So this disruption may be the source of both the positive and negative aspects of being a lefty. And with such varied company as Bill Gates, Oprah, Aristotle, Napoleon, and Jack the Ripper amongst your left-handed ranks, any worried lefties out there shouldn't fret too much, because you'll clearly make an impact in some way. But whether it's for good or bad, depends on what you smell like too. And that's our list. But if you want to know more about us fleshy old meatbags, then why not watch one of our 2 recent videos on the mysteries of men and the mysteries of women? Because some of those old stereotypes about bad driving and boob obsession may not be as true as you think.